Ladies and gentlemen, the long-awaited phone call between the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, and President Donald Trump has just ended. The call lasted more than 2 hours. More than 2 hours. Yes. So, as you all know, it was scheduled for this Monday, May 19th, 2025, for Putin and Trump to discuss putting an end to the bloodshed shaking Ukraine, both Ukraine and Russia. This phone call, this conversation was truly anticipated. They have just finished speaking, and these are the very first pieces of information we have at hand. So we are going to make them available to you, and we will analyze what was said. What does this foreshadow? And what impact could this have on ending the conflict? Are the Western countries coming out as winners? Is Trump the winner? Or is Russia the winner? Are we truly on the path to peace? That's what we're going to talk about in this video conference, which I ask you to share as widely as possible in all the groups you can. Give it lots of likes. As you give likes, leave your opinions in the comments. This boosts the visibility of the video conference. Don't forget to click on subscribe. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our video conferences. There you have it. The name of the channel is Samouraï Théa. So let's dive deep, ladies and gentlemen. After a phone conversation lasting more than 2 hours with Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin made a statement. Then Trump made a statement. It should be noted that Vladimir Putin made a statement during a press conference right after the call, and he held a press briefing that was broadcast on national television. So, Vladimir Putin mentioned a possible ceasefire with Ukraine. Here are his first words. At the end of their conversation, a ceasefire agreement is possible with Ukraine. But under what conditions? What did they agree on? We will find out right away. So, what needs to be said? Vladimir Putin described the conversation as open. Vladimir Putin described the conversation as open and constructive. He stated that it was an open, sincere, and constructive conversation. On the other hand, Putin said he was open to negotiations. So, Vladimir Putin's remarks seem to be going in the same direction, as those of Donald Trump. Since Vladimir Putin mentions, Vladimir Putin called on Ukraine to find compromises that suit all parties. So, he is calling on Ukraine to find compromises with Russia, but ones that can obviously be acceptable to all parties, to both sides. So, what should we say? Still, quoting President Vladimir Putin, he states the following. He says the key issue is, of course, that the Russian and Ukrainian sides show the utmost willingness for peace. It is necessary that whether it be the Russians or the Ukrainians, both sides show the utmost willingness for peace, and that both sides find compromises that satisfy all parties. This is what he declared. Yes. Now, the other thing is that Putin is talking about a possible peace treaty. A possible peace treaty. Putin also stated that Russia was ready to work with Ukraine on a memorandum regarding a possible peace treaty between the two countries. So, work needs to be done on a peace treaty between the two countries, a memorandum for a peace treaty between the two countries. So, he says this, Putin says this, look, he says that Russia will propose and is ready to work with the Ukrainian side on a memorandum regarding a possible future peace treaty. This is where he set his limits. So, but there is another element that we are learning. Vladimir Putin says that a ceasefire agreement will only be possible when a peace agreement is reached. That means that for now, it has been a failure. The phone call did not fully succeed since Vladimir Putin stuck to these conditions, to these criteria. The Western countries said that an immediate ceasefire is necessary. Vladimir Putin says, we will move towards a ceasefire. The ceasefire will be the first step of the peace agreement that is reached. This is Vladimir Putin's philosophy, and nothing has changed. Now, President Donald Trump, what is he doing? He too announced that the discussions were truly open discussions, and that Russia and Ukraine should immediately move to negotiations. That's what he posted on his social network, Truth Social. He says that Russia and Ukraine should immediately begin negotiations since Putin said Russia is ready to work with Ukraine on a peace memorandum. And so, negotiations must take place. Donald Trump says they must immediately move to negotiations. Things need to get started. So that means Donald Trump is still in line, going in the same direction as Vladimir Putin. Negotiations need to begin. And what will these upcoming negotiations be about? About the memorandum for a future peace treaty. That's what they need to start working on. And it is when they reach an agreement on the memorandum that they will sign a ceasefire agreement, which will be the first step toward achieving peace. But once again, this exchange doesn't bring anything new, except for the fact that both of them said it was a frank and sincere exchange. Well, whose sincerity are we talking about here? Putin was sincere. He stated his conditions honestly. He said, here are my conditions. Donald Trump said, okay, no problem, we'll go along with that. So, after his exchange with Putin, Donald Trump is supposed to speak with Zelensky, but he hasn't done so yet. He announces that negotiations are beginning. And so, we're going back to square one again, because the draft peace treaty that Vladimir Putin wants them to work on is the same memorandum from 2022 that Russia is going to bring up again. Because before this meeting, Vladimir Putin had been very clear. He held a press conference during which he listed the three obligations, the three conditions that, when fulfilled, would allow peace to return. And he is sticking exactly to his same position. We are waiting to see. Will Zelensky give in? Will Europe? Will the West give in? Will the four of them, those European leaders who called Donald Trump to feel his head before the phone call, will they accept, since they are the ones dictating the rules to Volodymyr Zelensky? So we will see. But until then, we will continue to follow the subsequent information that will leak out, because they spent 2 hours on the phone, and what they have released to us, we weren't there to listen in, but what they've given us is minimal. It doesn't even make up 0.01% of what they actually said to each other, but it will come out, and we'll be here to break it down. So thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you for sharing the video as much as possible. I'll be back with more news for you shortly. This was the voice of your one and only samurai.